Not too long ago, a good friend of mine suggested that I do a video about how I start my survival worlds and get good gear. I thought to myself, you know what? That is a great idea. So here we are. This is going to be a multiple part series where I basically walk you guys through how I normally play through survival worlds. This episode in particular will walk you through how I survived the first night and even obtained diamonds within the first 20 minutes of a new world, and we're starting right now. Okay, we're going to start off by creating a new survival world. What should I name it? How about Get Good at Minecraft? There we go. Let's load this up. I'm curious to see how this goes. Oh, there we go. You're kidding me. It's an island spawn. That is pretty unfortunate. At least there's some land over there. But normally this would be quite a terrible spawn point. You know what? We were given islands, we're gonna use islands. We're gonna make the most of this, guys. Oh, I just realized my field of view is super high up. I was doing PvP earlier. There we go. Much better. We're losing daylight, so we should probably get over there and mine some wood. Yeah, this island is a lot smaller than I expected, but it's going to have to do. When you load up a new Minecraft world, the first thing you want to do is scope out the area like I did over there. You look around, see if there's anything useful, like a shipwreck, or islands that have a lot of resources, or villages, just anything you find. But most importantly is an area with wood. Because for the first half of your day, you're going to want to collect as much wood as possible, so that way you have enough tools so you can survive the night and just not die, because tools are pretty important. Let's take this tree down. And I actually did an experiment not too long ago that concluded that the quickest way to get a lot of wood is to actually get a stone pickaxe, even though you would take some time to actually get to the stone and make a pickaxe, an axe and all of that. You actually, in the long run, since stone axes mine a lot faster than your fist, you're better off mining with a stone axe than with just your fist. When I start off a new survival world, I don't normally like to wander around and look for a place to set up, because when you do that, you're spending more time in the dark, or just in general without tools to protect yourself, and it ends up being really inconvenient and costs a lot of time. So I prefer just to set up a small camp right where you are near spawn. One, because you can get yourself started quicker by getting tools and resources. And two, because if you die, it's not all that long of a walk. Later on you can have a bed, so you can settle down really anywhere you want. But early game, it's really inconvenient if you die and then you have to start all over again. So as you can see, it's getting pretty late. It's very important that you keep an eye on the sun there, because you don't want to spend all your time collecting wood and not have time to collect food. And there are not very many animals here, so I may have to resort to the vegan option of kelp. So if I just go over to this kelp patch here, I can get out of the boat and just swim down and punch out the bottom of these kelp stalks, and all of the kelp above it will break, and then it'll all just conveniently float to the surface. Then once you've broken a lot of kelp, you can just take your boat and Tokyo drift around and collect all this kelp. And oh my gosh, that is a lot of kelp. I did not think I was going to be able to collect this much. This is going to last me a long time. Kelp may not be the most effective food source. It doesn't replenish as much hunger as steak, but it's easy to collect in large quantities, as you can very easily tell. And you actually eat it really quickly, so it's better than some food sources like berries. And it's getting dark now, and I'm probably going to want to take shelter soon. At this stage of the game, you really do not want to be wandering around in the dark. Yep, that's a lot of kelp. I do not need that much kelp. I find that it's just an all-around easier solution just to dig a little hidey hole. Just because it's much quicker than building a house, and when you build a house, or even just a small hut, you're wasting so much time that you could be using getting basic gear to protect yourself, and odds are you're going to be working well into the night just to get a roof over your head. Now I can place my crafting table, make myself a furnace, and then get some torches by making some charcoal. Another thing that's really useful about building a base underground instead of on the surface is that you're just surrounded by stone, so you can easily get all the stone you need to make a full set of tools and a lot of building blocks if you do decide to build a house. So you're going to want to craft up the basic resources, like tools, I mean, like a sword, and then you'll want quite a few pickaxes. I also crafted a chest so I can put all of my kelp in here, because you really do not need this much kelp. I did not think I would end up with all this kelp. Yeah, cooking this kelp is taking a lot longer than I expected, which is a little irritating. I decided to put some charcoal in there because I believe it's probably more fuel efficient. I mean, don't take my word for it. Just Google it. I just don't feel like Googling it right now. It's about time we start mining. So what I normally do to mine is I just kind of dig straight down because it's the quickest way to get down, and in the process you uncover quite a few ores. But what you want to make sure you do is not digging straight down. You want to be standing on two different blocks, because if you're just standing on one, odds are you're going to fall into a cave and meet your untimely demise. And there we go, found iron. This is going to be really useful because we're going to start mining soon, and we want to make sure we can mine those diamonds once we find them. Because only a fool would try and mine diamonds with a stone pickaxe. So I finally made it all the way down to wide level 11. So I'm going to start a little mining operation here. I'm going to dig out a little bit here, then make some space for a crafting table, some furnaces, maybe some chests. The next thing I always like to do is just clear out a little hallway, because this is where it's a lot easier to manage tunnels going out and back in. So before we start mining, there's some things we need to do first. We're going to need to smelt some of our iron ore, and then make some pickaxes with it, and then also make trapdoors, and you're going to see why in just a second. For some basic tools, we're going to craft a sword, a few pickaxes, and then a shield is actually really useful as well when you're in caves, because it's not easy to outrun creepers, so all you have to do is just pop up your shield. To start mining tunnels, I found that the most effective way is to first place a torch on the ground in the directions you may branch out, and then mine 2 blocks into the wall, and then 1 more into the wall. You can place a trapdoor if you're in Java Edition, and then you can just close it so you end up crawling in this space. And this way you can actually travel faster. You expose less of the blocks, but over time you actually uncover more blocks, just because it's a lot. You travel farther with iron pickaxe with this method rather than having to mine 2 blocks. so over time you actually uncover more ores and just more blocks in general. And it also has a slightly more efficient blocks mined to blocks uncovered ratio than the 2-block method. Another thing I like to do is have a torch in my offhand and then hold down my right mouse button with my left mouse button, so that way I'm mining and placing a torch at the same time. So that way I'm getting light without actually using any torches. And real quick, if you look back there, you can see the torch on the ground. It's easy to tell that it's on the ground, especially if there's no other torches in this area and you don't need torches because monsters won't spawn in the 1-block tunnels. You can see that torch and then know immediately that that is the main tunnel and that's the direction you should go in case you ever do get lost. And if you do want to place torches on the wall, make sure you place them on the wall itself and not on the floor when you're mining, because if you place it on the wall, it's easy to tell what's a tunnel and what's the main tunnel, like what will lead you back to the entrance. It's always been super useful to me to do that whenever I'm mining, so then I don't get lost. So you pretty much just continue mining like this for maybe an hour, 2 hours, and you'll find quite a few diamonds in that time. I've had mining sessions where I find maybe a stack of diamonds or like 48 diamonds within just an hour and a half of mining. And here we found our first shiny blue rocks. It's pretty neat how many diamonds are in here. This is actually a really large vein of diamonds. I'm really happy about that. That's 5 diamonds. That's pretty good for only mining for maybe 10 minutes. This method really works, and I would recommend trying to do it if you can. So basically, the key is just to go mining for a few hours. That way you just collect a lot of materials. I haven't seen the sun in about 2 hours now. Maybe a little less than that. But as you can see, it paid off. There's a lot of useful resources in here. There's some redstone. I'm not sure if I'll ever use that, but it's nice to have. There's lapis, which is really useful. I have over 1.5 stacks of diamonds, which is a great success for a mining session. I have quite a bit of coal, and then I have some iron, and then gold. And I also have a lot of cobblestone. Now, it's about time to craft some armor. I like to use iron armor until I have an enchantment table, because if you craft all your diamonds into armor, and you wear that armor, it becomes all worn out before you even get to enchant it, which I just don't like that, so I like to walk around in iron armor until I actually get the chance to enchant my diamond armor. And there we go. Some iron armor. Well, that's the end of today's episode. Stay tuned for episode 2 of the series, where I'll be going over the process of setting up a base in your new Minecraft world. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.